Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you today. And here we are for another study of one of the articles of this Spiritist Magazine. This blessed publication by the International Spiritist Council is available to you and I for us to be together and nourish our souls each and every day of our lives. And today's article is from the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. And this article is titled Law and Life. And it's from a book called Harvest of Light. And you can go to the playlists of Kardec Radio on YouTube, on Facebook, to get the full studies of the book by Vanessa Anceloni, who also is the editor-in-chief of the Spiritist Magazine. Welcome. It's always an honor and a blessing to be with you. And today, as we always do, I'm going to share with you how you can get the Spiritist Magazine. If you were to visit the website, spiritistmagazine.org, this is the webpage you would find. In this webpage, you will have many different things, including ways to download the different PDF versions of the Spiritist Magazine. You can read about the Spiritist Magazine and its founding. There's a contact form. If you'd like to send us a message, you can leave a message down in the comments. We are always reading these messages and replying to you. You can have a link to the new release. So the new release of the Spiritist Magazine is this one that you see here, all dedicated to the works of Leon Denis, who is a wonderful spirit who is helping us from the beyond in this Spiritist dissemination on the planet. You can have a link to the Facebook page of the Spiritist Magazine as well. You have a link to the Apple Store, to the App Store, or to the Google Play Store, because you can get the Spiritist Magazine as an app, and you can read the Spiritist Magazine as an app to download it to your phone, and you can read it in your phone. This is what the app looks like. If you were to see me, let's work on the technology. This is what the apps look like, and then you can choose any of the issues of the Spiritist Magazine. And if you have the app, this is issue 51 is the issue we're going to talk about today. And as you look through the issues, you can easily scroll through the texts and read the messages free of charge for you to nourish your soul, console your heart whenever you need it. And why do we always spend time talking about how to get the Spiritist Magazine? Because the good needs to be courageous. You need to be courageous and spread the good news and know where you can find content that nourishes your soul and allows you to gain the tools and the knowledge you need to progress as much as you can in this lifetime. And we're going to see a couple of things today from this article that are very interesting. Emmanuel titled this article Law and Life. Here's a screenshot of the article. And the message starts with a quote from the Bible. This is from the NIV translation. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. That was said by Jesus, the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Before I get there, let me share with you, if you were to download the PDF of the Spiritist Magazine, this is what you would see. This is the issue that we're going to talk about today. And here you have. And as you scroll through the issues of the magazine, you would find here the thumbnails. Scroll down all the way to this article, which is Law and Life. And here, if you were to zoom in and out, you would be able to easily read this article from Emmanuel. Most of the time, I bring this article to you in a form of paragraphs so that we can study together and reflect together. By no means is this exhaustive study of these messages. There's so much that you and I can learn from Emmanuel, and by studying his works, not only reading, but meditating and reflecting on his works. And here is just a little glimpse, a way for you and I to be together, to start developing those habits where we stop and read uplifting content that not only uplifts us, but it's enjoyable and it teaches us the best way to move forward. The good spirits are very generous with their time and with their knowledge towards us. And they're very concise and direct to the point, and that's something that you and I can learn from. As we go about our daily lives, we can be concise, dense, full of knowledge, and also focus our energy and our efforts into being a beacon of light wherever we go. So this article starts with the quote from Matthew, and now Emmanuel will comment on this quote from Matthew. And this is what Emmanuel is going to say. He starts, he says, "You shall not kill, says the law of Moses," right? This is one of the 10 commandments. What is the 10 commandment is about? Is it only about taking the physical life of others, or it has more meaning to you and I today? Emmanuel will say the text does not refer, however, only to the lives of the fellow beings. Not only shall not kill, as in we should not kill and go and take the life of another being or take our own lives. The opportunity of reincarnation is blessed. The opportunity of being together today is precious, very unique, full of complexity, and much, much planning in order for you and I to be here today. Go to the book Missionaries of the Light, and I'm going to talk about the reincarnation of Sigismund, which is what André Luiz described, how much work and care, dedication, detail, and planning comes into the reincarnation. So we should be very aware that we should not kill. But it's not only about the physical body, but because we know as we mortal spirits, even after the extinction of life in the physical body, guess what? We have an immortal spirit. You're an immortal being, that your spirit and your paraspiritual body will survive the extinction of the faculties of the physical body. Yet we need to take every single moment together, every single minute, as a blessed opportunity of using time as wisely as we can, as one of the talents and abilities, one of the talents and resources that divine providence has given us each and every day. So let's see what else this law, "you shall not kill," refers to, according to Emmanuel. Emmanuel will say, "You shall not frustrate the tasks of others because you suppose it inadequate, since every task promotes those who execute it, whenever it is nobly fulfilled." So it's not up to you and I to determine that a task is inadequate and squander and frustrate their efforts in undergoing the task. If the task is noble, nobly fulfilled, done by people who may we not agree with. However, are they doing good? Are they serving others? Are they not harming anybody? So we should not frustrate that task. You may not agree that a group of spiritists should be doing X, Y, and Z. However, they're doing X, Y, and Z based on what they know, based on what the people around them are in need of, the location they're located in. So I'm going to always bring this example to our spiritist practice, because knowing this is very good, but it's very important that we apply it to our daily lives, correct? So let's not frustrate the task of others. Someone comes to you, shares that they're planning to do something, as long as they're not hurting anybody and causing harm. If it is nobly fulfilled and with good intentions, Who are we to judge that it is inadequate? Because you don't know what God gave them to do and asked them to do. Only it's between them and God, but you know that your job is to fulfill God's law for your life today and always. Emmanuel will say, "You shall not squander anyone's hope, because happiness is not basically the same in everyone's experience. We shall never remove anyone's hope. We should ever promote hope and say, yes, you do this. Yes, let's go together. Yes, let's do the good. Yes, you matter. Yes, God willed you to be created in the universe to fulfill a specific mission. And yes, we should do the best we can to be co-creators with God each and every day of our lives. So we should give hope to people that their lives will get better, that they have the strength within themselves and the courage to do what's right. And if they don't feel it, we visualize them, the goodness inside of them. We remind them that Emmanuel in the book Living Spring, chapter 30, tells us that we have the gene, the DNA of divinity inside of us. So it's up to us to visualize ourselves and imparting the most hope and good in everyone and everything around us. Happiness is not basically the same in everyone's experience. So what happens here is what makes me fulfilled and happy is different what makes you fulfilled and happy. So we need to be respectful of other people's desires, plans, aspirations, and then always, especially nowadays with so much fear and anxiety, let's be mindful that we shall continue to give people hope for better days to come. This is only temporary. The difficulties are temporary. It shall pass. It's up to us to build the muscle of resilience in ourselves and others so that we can together create a better world for everyone around us. What else does Emmanuel say? He'll say, "You shall not destroy the courage of those who dream or work in your way, considering that accomplishment may differ from person to person." So never discourage anybody. If they feel courageous to do what's right, if what they're doing is alignment with God's laws, third part of the Spirit's book, we shall not discourage them. We should not remove them from their ability to do what they dream of, what they work for. Because what I dream of, what I work for is different from you and from all of the other 7 billion incarnates on the earth. Yet, sometimes we think that people should be doing what we want them to do, but no, they have a mission. You have a mission. You have divine support. Divine providences abound in the entire universe for every single spirit on the earth and beyond to take advantage of. So we shall not destroy the courage of those who dream or work. Are they starting in the Spiritist Center? Encourage them. Support them. Allow them to go through their experience as long as they're doing things that fulfill God's law, right? So we put those principles in alignment with God's laws. What else does it say, friends? He says, "You shall not uselessly waste the time of your brothers and sisters, because every hour is a sacred agent in the values of creation." We shall not invite people to do things that are not productive, call them, complaining about everything, gossiping about folks. We shall not waste the time of anybody else or even our own time. If you go to the book Jesus in the Home by Neil Lucio, chapter 22, Divine Talisman. The divine talisman that Jesus talked about there, they've given him divine powers is time. because every hour is sacred in the values of creation. It's a sacred agent, meaning you can create with it, you can have agency, do things with it. So every hour of your life, every second, every minute, every hour is an opportunity to co-create. Now the choice is yours. Are you going to co-create with Jesus? In a lesser plane, of course, because you and I are still in a stage of development that doesn't allow us to be creating planets out there. However, if you are a superior spirit and you are watching me, welcome, and you let me know because I want to learn from you. But however, in the book Evolution to Worlds, we know from André Luiz that we are co-creators in a lesser plane. Jesus and his workers and the other Christ spirits are co-created in a greater plane where they have more greater action in the works of creation. But you and I can co-create every hour. We can see that hour and those minutes as a blessed opportunity to be co-creating in goodness with God. There's no neutral. Either you're fulfilling the law or you're not. So we shall not kill the time, because that's an expression we use. We kill time. No, we don't. We can't anymore. Right now we know of these and they needs to be applied to our daily lives. We should go mindfully about our day, knowing that every hour is a sacred agent in creation. When you drive, you can co-create by visualizing goodness and safety around you and blessing the drivers around you. When you go to a grocery store, you can bless every customer, every cashier, every person who is restocking or preparing the food. So we can blessedly drive there and pick it up. You can mindfully wash the dishes, because if you have dishes dirty, you meant to have food. Then you meant to have dishes to eat from. We can mindfully prepare our food and bless the food to be of not only nourishment for the physical, but also for the perispiritual and spiritual bodies, right? There's so much we can do if we think of every single moment as a blessed opportunity granted by God to you and I to be here today. What else we shall not kill? It says, you shall not extinguish the affection in the soul of others, because we are all ignorant what instrument of love, divine wisdom, intends to move the hearts that share our march. So you see someone, do never ever extinguish the affection in their souls. We don't know what kind of instrument of God they're going to be, in which way and shape their hearts will be moved to do things for the good. Moreover, he says, you shall not exterminate the faith and the spirit of the companions that cross your way, observing that the roads to God obey structures and directions that vary to infinity. So you have your road to meet God. I have my road to meet God. Infinite ways to reach that state where you'll be in communion with God. So we shall not exterminate the faith of anybody who comes our way. Just because they're doing it differently, they may be choosing to apply their free will to stay stagnant, but the law of progress is a law of progress. The law of progress says we will progress to be a superior spirit. So sooner or later, God will grant us the opportunity to move and evolve and move forward. So we should not be exterminating the faiths of anyone who come our way. We should encourage their faith, that everything shall pass, that everything is designed by God, it's in its perfect way. The things happen for a reason. They were reaping what we did in previous lives, and today is an opportunity not only of service, but of learning. Learn, have knowledge, think better things, feel better things, have better ideas, communicate those ideas better, receive inspiration from the guardian angels in a better way. So the roads to God are infinite, but it starts with following the laws that are written on our conscience. One of them is shall not kill, because the law of preservation is one of the laws in the third part of the Spirit's book. Emmanuel will say, let us reflect on the good of our neighbor, respecting their form in life, The law does not draw specifications or conditions within the subject matter. It simply says, thou shalt not kill. So here's what I want you to take from it. Go to the Kardec Radio book of Kardec Radio YouTube and Facebook pages. There is a playlist called Harvest of Light, because that's the book Safer de Luz from Emmanuel Francisco Xavier. Go and watch every single chapter. Vanessa reads it and comments on it under the guidance of the good spirit. So go there and reflect. But for today, I'm asking you to reflect on the good of our neighbor, respecting them the way they are, the way they choose to live their lives, because you want them to respect who you are and how you live your life. As long as it's in alignment with God's laws. But it's not for you and I to judge that. That's for God. The laws are the laws. The divine laws are immutable. Humans a lot change. Eventually, if we let's talk about ourselves, because we only can talk about ourselves. So when we are being who we are, growing and progressing and interacting in the world, we want people to respect us, and we want them to reflect on our goodness. So when we see someone, including first thing in the morning when you go brush your teeth, you look at yourself in the mirror, see yourself as goodness, as deserving of God's love, as having the gene of divinity inside of you, with the destiny to be a superior spirit. Say to yourself, I am a child of God. I reincarnated to learn to do good. That's a song. Actually, you can sing to your children because it's recorded from a Buddhistic song by the Spirit Society of Baltimore. So if you go to the website, you're going to find the song. And if you can find it, right, I will link it to you if you'd like to. Visualize the good in yourself and reflect on the good of your neighbor. They may not be doing the things the way you'd like them to do. That includes the neighbor, the family member, literally your neighbor next door, your co-worker, the cashier, those driving, those in power, other spiritist groups, spiritist workers in the spirit group. Reflect on their goodness. Go by your day visualizing the goodness in them, respecting who they are. And then you just prevent yourself, move away from judgment. And of course, we do not kill. We don't kill people's hopes, people's dreams, people's courage. We invest on their goodness, and we cultivate the good in our own lives by visualizing the good, feeling the good, molding the good, and reflect on the good. Because we need to see people as the potential that they have. Because guess what? Jesus, when he receives us on the earth to be part of his flock of sheep, has seen in us the potential that we have to harness the power of goodness within ourselves and with others. Imagine if with the same amount of energy and vibration that we can harness from people when they are angry and fearful and threatened to acting against the good. Imagine if we could get and harness the power of goodness within all of us. There are millions and millions of spirits and incarnate beings that each and every day are out there in the world doing good. It's not on the news, it's not on Instagram and Facebook, and maybe a minority. But there's millions of anonymous folks who are harnessing every single sacred hour in their day to do the good. Imagine if we were courageous enough to harness that, even if it goes against the norms of society of self-enjoyment, self-care, my needs. If we could gather all of that energy of the good and apply it in our daily lives and connect. Because when you're visualizing and reflect on the good of your neighbor, you can have your guardian angel help you. Okay, I might not like this person, but he or she is a child of God. They are children of God, living the best life they can as much as I am. Guardian angel, please guide me to say the right thing, to visualize the right thing. Ask their guardian angel to come inspire you to say the right thing so you can appease, you can limit conflicts and discordances. So that's your invitation today for you to reflect on the good of your neighbor so that we can harness the power of goodness each and every day of our lives. Dear friend, it's always a blessing and an honor to be with you. Remember, go to spiritistmagazine.org, go to the Facebook page, download your app for your cell phones and for your tablets, the PDF, and you can order the physical copy of the Spiritist Magazine. Not only it has things for people like you and I in our older age, I'll put it that way, but also there's things for children in the Spiritist Magazine as well. So it's 4 things for every taste. So for example, this is an article that we discussed before. There will be, this is another a beautiful passage, Peace and Light by May. Many of these articles are from books that are not yet in English, so you can get it firsthand in English here at the Spiritist Magazine. And at the end of each magazine, you usually have also stories for children. So you can use this for your studies with your children, because this is the time where we can mold them towards the good. We can observe their tendencies and harness their power of goodness. And with this kind of material, you can teach them so much about their immortality, their spirituality, and their connection with God. And with this, dear friends, I hope to see you again next week when we are together for another study of the Spiritist Magazine. And until then, I wish you many, many blessings. Stay well, stay safe.